daily game plan for success. It's Sachs in the Morning. Steve Sachs.
Hi, Steve Sachs here with Sachs in the Morning. Happy Wednesday to everybody. I'm happy today. I'm excited because I get to talk about something that has to do with my favorite sport, of course, is baseball. And we're going to be talking about the Hall of Fame because at the end of this week, I get an opportunity to represent the LA Dodgers and go play in the Hall of Fame Classic in Cooperstown, New York. This is going to be such a fun time. I've done this 2 other times where you go and you play a real competitive game against other guys that are representing their respective teams. So it's a lot of fun to get in a real live game where guys are trying to get you out and all that stuff. So I better sharpen up my batting skills, I guess. So I'm looking really very much forward to playing that game up there. It's going to be a great time. But I wanted to let you know that there's also some crazy Hall of Fames that you may not have heard of. But of course, the ones you do know of, baseball, football, NASCAR, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Country and Western Hall of Fame. But I'll bet you didn't know that there are some other Hall of Fames that are just a bit unusual. So we're going to get this started by just talking about some of these other places that do have Halls of Fame. So when we're talking about Halls of Fame, there's lots of different ones. But the main thing is there's a thread that really runs through all the reasons why people were so good in their respective Halls of Fame. And it's because of their passion, their dedication, their spirit, their ability to look forward and to bounce back, have resilience that we talked about earlier in the week. And, you know, those things really do make a difference. It may sound kind of quirky. Hey, this is a Hall of Fame for this and that. But the main thread that runs through it is that some people sacrificed to get there. They really had to have an unbelievable amount of purpose. And that's the reason why they got in the Hall of Fame. So let's just get started. Some of the most unusual Halls of Fames are, number one, there's a National Inventors Hall of Fame. I don't know if this is so crazy to have an Inventors Hall of Fame. I mean, you know that there's a purpose when you talk about people that are in this Hall of Fame. People like Thomas Edison and Steve Jobs and George Washington Carver, to lesser-known folks like Earl Dickerson, who invented Band-Aids, and Eagle Scout Philo Farnsworth, the inventor of the modern television. Wow, did you know that Philo Farnsworth developed the modern television? So that's why these guys are in the Inventors Hall of Fame, which is a pretty important thing. And you can get there and go see this thing in Alexandria, Virginia. So the second Hall of Fame I wanted to mention today is, how about this? The Toy Hall of Fame. There's a Hall of Fame for toys. Yeah, very, very important in the development for kids. So some of the toys that were inducted into the Hall of Fame, by the way, they've been inducting toys since 1998. The first honorees included classics like Crayola crayons, Legos, Etch-a-Sketch, the Frisbee, and Monopoly. That's right. So you can go to the Toy Hall of Fame and check that out if you want to go up to Rochester, New York, and that's where it is. Okay, now the third Hall of Fame that I want to speak about is the International Towing and Recovery Hall of Fame and Museum. How about that, folks? You never know. When your car breaks down next time, you might have a Hall of Famer coming up to tow you out and take you where you need to go. I never heard of the International Towing and Recovery Hall of Fame, but it's there. And if you want to go to Chattanooga, Tennessee and check that out, you should do that. Number 4 is the World Kite Museum and Hall of Fame. Didn't know that, man. I didn't know that there was a Kite Hall of Fame. I mean, that's a pretty good thing. You never know. If you want to go to Long Beach, Washington, and check this out, you can do that. You can fly your way up there. Somebody tells you to go fly a kite, you know, you might be in the Hall of Fame for it. So that's a pretty cool thing. Number 5 is the Pinball Hall of Fame in Las Vegas, Nevada. Next time you're in Las Vegas and you've had a little bit too much to drink or whatever, you get in late, hey, man, head over there to the Pinball Hall of Fame and, you know, bong yourself around a little bit. You might find it intriguing. And lastly, the Hall of Flame Museum of Firefighting. Didn't you know that? I mean, listen, we all know that the firefighters in the world are looked at as, you know, kind of big lumberjacks, big studly guys. Women always love the firefighters, right? Well, they got a Hall of Fame for that now called the Hall of Flame Museum of Firefighting. Guess where this is? Now, this is in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's really hot. So the Hall of Flame Museum of Firefighting in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, next time you get a chance to go out and enjoy one of these museums, you should do it because it's there for a reason. And the reasons really are people put in a lot of effort. They were resilient and they really busted their tails with a lot of purpose to make these things happen. And that's my short for today. If you like what you heard, give us a positive review, subscribe, and share. Also, don't forget to go to our website at saxinthemorning.com if you want to get into the swag store. Hit the shop button, and believe me, it's all there for you. Hats, mugs, tumblers, V-necks, visors, you name it. Go take advantage of the swag store at saxinthemorning.com.